There is a reason why this message reached you. It's because your mind is trapped in what quantum physicists call an observer loop. Picture a cosmic cycle where your awareness collapses the same probability waves over and over, creating identical realities day after day. Right now, in this very moment, something deep within you is stirring because it recognizes this truth. You've felt it, haven't you? That sensation of reliving the same experiences, having identical conversations, cycling through familiar heartaches. It's as if your life has become a beautiful song, but the record is scratched, endlessly replaying the same haunting note. Your presence here is no coincidence. It's the purest form of synchronicity. Your quantum field has been broadcasting a silent call, searching for the exact frequency that will finally shatter this cycle, and the universe in its infinite intelligence responded by guiding you to this transmission. Consider this carefully. Right now, millions of people are scrolling past content without pause. But a specific type of soul, your type of soul, would stop dead in its tracks because these words carry a magnetic pull that resonates with your deepest knowing. The quantum field selected you because you possess what we call the observer gene, a rare trait that few humans carry. This goes far beyond spiritual poetry. It's the foundation of quantum mechanics itself, operating through what science calls the observer effect. Your consciousness doesn't merely witness reality, it actively shapes it. But here's the secret that no textbook reveals. When your observational power becomes trapped in these loops, you're not just seeing the same reality repeatedly, you're continuously creating it. Examine your life carefully. How often do you feel like you're performing in the same play, with identical characters delivering familiar lines? How many times have you watched the same painful patterns emerge in your relationships, your career, even in your solitude? You're not failing to try hard enough or experiencing a streak of misfortune. Your consciousness is locked in an observer loop, unconsciously selecting the same familiar quantum possibilities from an infinite deck of potential realities. Time itself becomes your most revealing indicator. Notice how it seems to bend and distort around you. Insignificant moments can stretch into eternity, while entire weeks vanish, leaving barely a trace. This temporal warping clearly signals that your consciousness is caught on a treadmill, cycling through identical probability templates. It creates the illusion of forward movement, but in quantum terms, you remain stationary. Your friends and family may not comprehend your experience. They might exist on different frequencies, content with life's predictable, steady rhythm. But you've always sensed that reality is far more fluid and magical than most people dare to acknowledge. You've experienced those brief, powerful moments when synchronicities dance around you like a celestial symphony composed specifically for your soul, when you felt you could almost touch the very fabric of existence. This profound knowing isn't new to you. Your soul has been preparing for this awakening across multiple timelines and dimensions. Every book that seemed to leap from the shelf, every spiritual path that felt like home, every sudden flash of insight you couldn't explain. These were cosmic breadcrumbs, leading you to this revelation about the observer loop. But now comes the crucial part that will either liberate you or lock you in forever. People who discover they're trapped in an observer loop often make a critical error. They attempt to think their way out. They believe that if they can just understand the mechanics, they can mentally reshape reality. That's like studying blueprints of a light switch instead of simply flipping it on to escape a dark room. Your thoughts don't maintain the observer loop. It's sustained by the very quality of your attention itself. Each morning when you wake, your mind automatically seeks the familiar, the known. It operates like a quantum GPS system, programmed to the same old destination, believing it's the only safe harbor. Your awareness has grown accustomed to your struggle patterns, your emotional landscapes, the predictable outcomes. The more you observe these patterns, the more deeply they embed. The stronger they become, the more you expect to encounter them tomorrow. Quantum field researchers call this a reality feedback loop. Your observation breathes life into the very prison walls you desperately want to escape. But something extraordinary is happening in your quantum field right now as you absorb these words. The moment you become aware of the observer loop, it begins losing its grip on you. This is precisely why this message found you. This encounter was orchestrated by your higher self, because you've reached the point where breaking free isn't just possible, it's your destiny. When you catch yourself mid-conversation, realizing you've had this exact exchange before, not just similar, but identical in phrasing, tone, and conclusion, does it send chills through you? Most would dismiss this as simple déjà vu, but you know it's something far more profound. You're experiencing what quantum consciousness researchers term temporal echoes, glimpses of the endless film reel of your observer loop. Don't assume this is purely mental. You're attuned to frequencies that most of humanity cannot yet perceive. You notice these reality glitches that others miss entirely. Your consciousness has developed profound quantum sensitivity, enabling you to sense the hidden architecture underlying manifestation itself. You've likely felt time stretch and compress around you. A single hour filled with higher realm downloads and insights can feel eternal. Then weeks may pass in a blur with little memorable substance. This temporal distortion occurs because your consciousness is simultaneously navigating multiple realities, seeking the one that most closely harmonizes with your soul's authentic song. What about those sudden, profound insights that emerge from nowhere, when you instantly know a universal secret you've never read about or learned in any class? These thoughts arise for a reason. In alternate timelines, parallel versions of yourself have already broken free from their observer loops and are transmitting these realizations through quantum memory. Your consciousness is so advanced, it's receiving information from your own future. Paradoxically, this can sometimes create profound loneliness. When you attempt to share these remarkable experiences with friends or family, they regard you with genuine bewilderment, as if you're speaking an unknown language. They remain anchored in the old paradigm, where reality appears solid, fixed, unchangeable. You, however, have glimpsed behind the veil. You've seen that reality resembles a vast, shimmering ocean of possibilities. Most people simply drift along, unaware they can navigate to any shore they choose. This explains why certain books seem to sing to you from across the bookstore, why specific videos appear in your feed at precisely the right moment, why you keep encountering people who share your wonderfully unconventional perspectives on life and consciousness. These synchronicities aren't mere positive thinking results. You're quantum entangled with a global network of awakening souls, all collaborating to break free from their own observer loops. Your dreams have probably intensified recently, becoming more vivid and meaningful. You're receiving transmissions during sleep that your waking mind struggles to decode. These aren't random neural firings. They're direct communications from your higher self, revealing the vast gap between your current reality and the infinite beautiful possibilities awaiting you. Even your relationship with technology has likely shifted. You might notice your phone seeming to read your thoughts, your music app playing exactly the song your heart needs, or your social media feed perfectly reflecting your emotional state. This isn't coincidence. It demonstrates that your consciousness is achieving such coherence that it measurably influences the quantum field around you. None of your challenging experiences, the disappointing patterns, the frustrating cycles, or the moments that felt like regression were mistakes. They were sacred preparation for this exact moment of awakening, for your consciousness to become quantum aware enough to transcend the observer loop. It needed to experience it from every conceivable angle. Imagine a butterfly struggling within its chrysalis. From outside, it appears to be suffering, confined, moving backward. But inside, every moment of that struggle represents miraculous reorganization of its very essence. The caterpillar undergoes more DNA transformation than simply growing wings. These changes activate abilities that were always dormant within. The difficult relationships in your life weren't punishments. They were quantum mirrors reflecting exactly how your patterns of observation kept you locked in cycles. Every person who triggered you was an unconscious guide, helping you locate the precise frequencies where your consciousness would become stuck. Each déjà vu moment was actually your higher self orchestrating a test, helping you finally perceive how the observer loop operates. And that pressure you've been feeling lately, the sense that time is running out and you must figure everything out immediately, that's not pressure. That's your quantum field recalibrating itself. Scientists call this phase transition pressure, the tension that builds in consciousness as it prepares to leap to a higher timeline. Water follows the same principle when it reaches the perfect temperature and transforms into steam. Your awareness is approaching the exact frequency where the observer loop can no longer maintain its hold on reality. Even your periods of doubt have been essential. Each time you questioned whether your insights were real or imagined, you strengthened your ability to discern authentic from illusory revelations. You were training your quantum sensitivity, learning to distinguish between spiritual bypassing and genuine soul expansion. Your consciousness needed to become incredibly precise to navigate this transformation safely. This is why the waiting period has felt so prolonged and challenging. You sensed a massive shift approaching but couldn't force its arrival. That's because escaping the observer loop doesn't require willpower. It requires reaching a specific coherence threshold where your consciousness naturally begins selecting new, more beautiful probability waves from the quantum field. Your soul chose to incarnate in this body at this precise moment because you knew the observer loop would be decoded during your lifetime. You elected to be among the first wave of consciousness to break free from these limiting patterns, anchoring a new reality for the entire human collective. Every struggle you've endured prepared you for this sacred assignment. As you read these words, you're experiencing a subtle yet profound shift. Feel it. Your energy signature has changed slightly, like striking a tuning fork with the perfect note. As your consciousness begins vibrating at a different frequency, your old reality starts dissolving. Quantum physicists call this resulting dissonance reality turbulence. But this turbulence is a beautiful, hopeful sign. Your observer loop is finally beginning to collapse. You're losing interest in the patterns that kept you cycling through identical experiences. You've now entered what we call the breakthrough phase, the most delicate and powerful aspect of your transformation. This is where many people make a crucial mistake. They feel intense energy building and immediately try to direct it toward external changes. They want to fix relationships, manifest money, or alter life circumstances. But changing what you observe doesn't break the observer loop. Breaking it requires fundamentally changing the quality of your observation itself. New ways of interfacing with reality are downloading into your consciousness right now. You don't need to memorize these concepts. They're energetic shifts occurring at the cellular level. Your DNA is literally rewriting its own code to support a new method of engaging with the quantum field. This might manifest as unusual physical sensations, sleep pattern changes, or sudden shifts in your desires for certain foods or activities. During this phase, the most crucial thing you can do is feel the energy without attempting to direct or control it. Allow it to flow through you like a river, naturally carving new pathways in your consciousness. Your role isn't to manage this process. Your role is to let it see through you, not resist the quantum reorganization already occurring on your behalf. This is the moment where everything could permanently shift. But this is also when your fearful ego might attempt to pull you back. It wants to return your attention to familiar patterns out of fear of the unknown, even if those patterns have caused tremendous suffering. Don't let this become your story. You're witnessing a miracle of consciousness evolution in real time. I need to share something with you because I know you'll understand. Not long ago, I was trapped in the most sophisticated observer loop I'd ever encountered. I believed I was spiritually aware and understood quantum mechanics. But what I was actually doing was using my knowledge to construct a more intelligent, invisible cage for my consciousness. Every morning, I would immediately scan my reality for progress signs. Was my life improving? Were my manifestations working? Had I changed? But this needy observation was like putting my reality in suspended animation. My attention kept reinforcing the very patterns I was trying to break. The harder I tried to change things, the more stuck I became. I remember the exact moment of my breakthrough. I was sitting in my usual meditation spot, feeling completely defeated because despite all my self-work, the same issues kept recurring year after year. Then it struck me like lightning from clear sky. I wasn't just observing my reality. I was creating it through the needy quality of my observation. It was like a cosmic DJ, playing the same melancholy song repeatedly, and no amount of positive affirmations could change the track. I stopped trying to observe my way out of the loop and began observing the observer itself. That's when everything truly shifted. I started paying attention to my attention. Where did it naturally gravitate? What patterns did it cling to? for comfort. This simple shift, this meta-observation, completely transformed my relationship with my own consciousness. I finally understood why some people seem to glide through life, flowing from one beautiful experience to the next, while others remain trapped in struggle cycles. It's not about worthiness, good karma, or spiritual advancement. It's entirely about the fundamental mechanics of how our consciousness interfaces with the quantum field. This one discovery changed everything. My relationships transformed almost overnight because I stopped unconsciously casting people in the same old roles. My creativity exploded because I was no longer recycling the same tired thoughts. My physical health improved as my cells stopped receiving the same stress signals and started getting new life-affirming information instead. But the most profound realization was that I wasn't alone in this experience. Souls exactly like you have been working on the same puzzle simultaneously. People worldwide are connecting, sharing insights and experiences, creating a field that makes this transformation easier for everyone. You're part of this network too. Most quantum consciousness experts won't tell you this, usually because they don't fully grasp it themselves. Having intellectual knowledge about the observer effect is vastly different from embodied mastery of it. Knowledge and wisdom are completely different phenomena. You can read every book and understand every theory while remaining trapped in your observer loop. Here's the shocking truth. You don't create your reality with your thoughts. Your reality isn't even created by your attention. Your reality is created by the coherence between your consciousness and the quantum field. This coherence cannot be faked, forced, or thought into existence. It emerges naturally when your observer function stops being rigid and fixed and becomes fluid and free. Most minds operate like spotlights, intense, focused, constantly seeking something specific. A quantum-aware consciousness functions like sunlight, present everywhere simultaneously, illuminating everything effortlessly. When you shift your awareness from spotlight mode to sunlight mode, you stop collapsing the same probability waves repeatedly. This observer loop traps you because it makes your consciousness predictable. Every morning you wake up, essentially placing the same order from the cosmic menu. When you check your phone for familiar message types, worry about identical problems, and expect the same kind of day, you're seeking the recognizable. What will truly amaze you is that the quantum field is eager to deliver fresh, wonderful experiences. You're constantly being visited by infinite possibilities, but they cannot penetrate because your observer loop is too busy reinforcing old patterns. You're not stuck because the universe isn't providing what you need. Your consciousness is stuck because it has developed habitual ways of interfacing with infinite potential. The most evolved beings don't attempt to control reality. They dance with it. The state they inhabit is called coherent uncertainty. It's a beautiful space where their consciousness is fully present and engaged, but not attached to specific outcomes. This allows them to respond to reality as it unfolds, rather than react from a predetermined script. This is the key to living a life filled with flow and magic. This is why some people seem to have effortless lives, while others struggle intensely despite similar circumstances. It's not about luck or privilege. It's about the fundamental coherence of their consciousness with the universe's creative force. When you master this coherence, You don't just transform your own life. You become a catalyst for positive change in everyone around you. Your very presence begins creating quantum openings, moments when other people's observer loops temporarily dissolve, allowing them to glimpse their own limitless potential. You can find concrete evidence in your daily life that your observer loop is breaking down. The great quantum shift is happening now. First, you'll notice synchronicities becoming more frequent and almost impossibly perfect. The universe is actively rearranging itself around your shifting consciousness to confirm that you are breaking free. Pay attention to how birds and animals respond to you. Animals can sense when your consciousness isn't trapped in the observer loop because you emit a different energetic signature. If you've noticed birds making more direct eye contact, unusual animal encounters, or your pets behaving in new, more connected ways, it's a beautiful confirmation. Your relationship with technology is likely changing too. Electronics might malfunction around you or work flawlessly. Your phone might ring when you think of someone, or your computer might refuse to load content that doesn't match your new frequency. These occurrences are your expanding consciousness interacting with electromagnetic fields around you. Technology is highly sensitive to consciousness. The most significant indicator is how time feels. The observer loop maintains linear time's illusion. As you break free, you'll begin experiencing what mystics call the eternal now. Minutes can feel like hours when you're fully present, and days can flow by in joyful streams because time isn't linear when you're aligned. Your sleep patterns are definitely shifting. You might need less sleep but feel more rested, or your dreams might have become incredibly vivid and meaningful. Some nights, you might feel like you're downloading massive amounts of information directly into your soul. This is because you're no longer confined to observing only the narrow slice of reality your observer loop was showing you. People are responding to you differently even though you haven't consciously changed anything. Some might feel strangely uncomfortable around you because your free frequency is destabilizing their observer loops. Others will be drawn to you like magnets because they can sense the freedom frequency you're beginning to embody. The season of waiting is over, and this is the most important part. This is the cosmic moment for massive numbers of people to break free from these loops. This isn't meant to alarm you. It's simply how consciousness physics works. Awareness evolves in great waves, and we're riding the crest of a massive wave that won't return in our lifetimes. Every experience in your life has been orchestrated by your higher self to bring you to this recognition moment.